Alrighty. Howdy, howdy, out here from the northeast end of the beautiful state of Georgia. Out here around these old beautiful backwoods where the trees are always treetop tall, obviously. Old Gatekeeper here. Just thought I'd make a quick video just to let everybody know that we are now at that border 100% to ease in Texas Star Repairs / some of them may be builds / modification videos from this point on until the last one. Basically meaning that every video from now and on will be of Texas Star repair videos that I've done anywhere from pretty much to about a year ago up to around the 5-year mark. There may be a few a little bit older than 5 years, but I'm not 100% sure. But if it is, it shouldn't be that much later than 5 years. But most of them will be around the 2 year mark, somewhere around there. I think I did most of them. But anyway, as a lot of you know, I do specialize in Texas Star. I took a strong liking to Texas Star, probably mainly because it was my first real amplifier that I ever purchased. The absolute first amplifier that I ever purchased was a Hooker 100 from a actual little CB get-together in my local town, and it didn't work. You could probably imagine the frustration too, because I kind of scatteredly throughout my videos told how I even got into this hobby. But basically, I had bought a Cobra 19 Ultra 3 from Walmart, and was only buying it for the PA speaker. I mean, this is so crazy about stuff in life. How just a split-second decision can change the whole aspect of your life. Just a split second. I walked in that Walmart with not a CB radio on my mind, as in talking through the airwaves. Only thing I had on my mind was buying that PA speaker. I grabbed the CB radio. I had already ordered a PA speaker from eBay. When I grabbed that, I can remember it like it was yesterday. I looked up. Right above the Cobra 19 Ultra 3 was a $9 antenna, mountable antenna, not a magnet or nothing, just a mountable small CB antenna. I think it was a bottom loaded or mid loaded, I'm not sure, I can't remember. And I'm like, wow, it's only $9, $10. I might as well get it. Maybe I can hear some truckers talking. And me, without understanding how antennas are supposed to be mounted, I mounted that bad boy on my plastic luggage rack on my Jeep. I'm not going to get deep into the rest of it, but basically I pretty much figured out, hey, there's some people talking on one of these locals talking on this channel. I think it was 23 or 22. I think it was 23. And of course I heard the guys on the Super Bowl Channel 6 all the time. But I noticed that there were locals, because they were using the names of towns around me, and I could tell they were local. And there's nothing I wanted more but to be able to talk to these guys, But of course, they couldn't hear me. But I remember I got lucky one day, and I was driving home, driving to my parents' house to pick up my kids. And I was close enough to one of them, since the antenna wasn't even hardly working at all, since it wasn't grounded. I was still close enough for him to be able to pick me up and hear me. I pulled over on the side of the road and talked to this fella until the CB radio fried from SWR. I think I talked to him for about an hour, but I had gained enough information to where, if I remember correctly, I think I jumped on eBay and bought another Cobra 19 Ultra 3. Since, I knew that one so well. And I knew I needed to ground the antenna too. I remember actually putting ground wire on the antenna and taking it down to my door just really quick to see if it'd make a change. But I bought that Hooker 100 and it didn't work. I can remember like it was yesterday when I was trying to key it up, the guy saying, "Who is that? You sound terrible." And I remember it almost hurt my feelings. But anyway, I then bought a MOSFET, a 4X IRF 520 MOSFET from a local guy called Dirt Squirt. Quite a name, huh? And I didn't really get to see much use out of it yet because it was Class C and needed to be driven a little hard to get some output out of it, so I wasn't seeing much out of it. But by that time, I'd already learned enough from internet searches and stuff to know that I wanted a Cobra 29, and I called this, I think it was a CB place out in Florida maybe, called Loudmouth CB if I remember correctly, and they told me the biggest amp that I can get without updating my alternator was a Texas Star 667. I said, send it to me. He said, we'll need to set your Cobra 29 up so that it will match up to the 667 perfectly. Well, that's what they didn't do. That Cobra 29 had a 4-watt dead key. So they did not set that Cobra 29 up for that 667. I had no idea. I had to use that 667 for like 10 minutes till it would get so hot that I would have to quit using it. And then I lived like that for a while till the 667 finally just died. I blew a transistor probably, I can't remember. But it was the weirdest thing. The 667 would get so hot that it would quit keying. And then when it cooled down, it would start keying again. And in my mind, I thought it was a protection, some sort of protection circuit inside the amplifier. But no, we all know they don't have them in there. So I don't know what was causing that to this day, but that's what it was doing. It would cool down and start working again. But usually I tried to not let it get that hot, but it was just from my dead carrier being way too high and probably having a little SWR as well. But the radio, I was not done right by that CB shop. I'm just saying I wasn't. It wasn't matched up to the amplifier like it was supposed to. The carrier's way too high for a 667. But anyway, I said that to make a long story short. Well, to make a short story long, I don't know, either way you want to look at it, that's probably why I take so much of a liking to Texas Stars. They're a particular amp made for a particular reason, geared towards more of the sideband / ham community. And there's something else I want to show here soon. I don't even know if anybody's ever actually showed a Texas Star being used in its natural, unmodified form as a CW transmitter. We're going to show that here soon too. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know CW very well, but I have studied it a little bit, enough to play around, and that's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, just thought I'd show a couple of pictures through this ramblings. These are just some pictures of some work that I've done with Texas Stars through the last 10 to 11 years. And some of these images are probably some images from the videos that are come to. I do not have them all organized by date or nothing like that either. So I want to thank to all of my supporters out there. Let's enjoy some good Texas Star repair videos. Just hang with me. After this, after we get to the end of all these Texas Star videos, repair videos, then we're going to revert back to all of the amplifier builds mixed in with probably a few repairs that I've done since I began making my YouTube videos public again, which I think we're going on about maybe 10 to 11 months now. So basically all the work I've done these last 10, 11 months, but at that time, you know, they're probably over a year, a month or two. I'm thinking I've probably got a month or two, maybe more of videos. I'm going to try to release a video a day, and I may mix in some current stuff, you know, if I take a trip somewhere, or if I just want to make a quick, cool video or whatever. But anyway, I'm just rambling along like a lot of us CBers do. And a huge thanks to all my supporters that has supported me through some nice digital cups of coffee. God bless all of y'all, and thank you very much. You are helping me help you, and we all help each other. The old Gatekeeper said that out here around the northeast end of Georgia. And I think I may have just got down. Bye-bye.